Just wanted to talk about the movie From Dusk Till Dawn. This film stars Quentin Tarantino, George Clooney. It was directed by Robert Rodriguez, and it's pretty much about Quentin Tarantino and George Clooney are like these bank robbers. George Clooney's character is just a bank robber. He's not like into killing. He doesn't want to hurt people, but he will if he has to. But Quentin Tarantino's character, he's like fucked up in the head. Like he's fucking just nuts. Like um he like he was known for like being a pedophile. He fucking you know just saying that the guy in the freaking liquor store said that help us, and he really didn't. So he's just killing people just for the hell of it because he's nuts. And then they had a hostage, um, and he just kills the hostage. Um, and he's just messed up in the head, and it's fucking surprising that this is played by Quentin Tarantino. Quentin Tarantino is a director, and I love pretty much every single movie he's done. He's also wrote this movie. So yeah, and it's fucked up because he's a director and he's fucking really good in this movie, like a really good actor. Um, and they work really good together, George Clooney and Quentin Tarantino. So then they go to that hotel. They see people there that have this big ass RV. They tell them, take us across the border to Mexico. If you do, we'll let you go. So they do, and they end up going across the border, and then they end up going to this bar called the Titty Twister. And then this is where the whole movie just turns into a completely different movie, and it's weird. It is. It turns really, really strange. Um, like the first half of the movie, it's fucking awesome. It really is. Like I love Quentin Tarantino. I love George Clooney. Um, but then the second half, it's they're in this bar, and then this fucking hot ass what's her name? Salma Hayek, I think. Yeah, that's her name. Salma Hayek. Dancing fucking mad hot. Really fucking sexy ass scene. And then one of the people in there, ends up trying to fight with Quentin Tarantino and George Clooney. His hand, Quentin Tarantino's hand, because he got it fucked up earlier, had like a big ass hole in it. One of the people there stabs it, and he starts bleeding all over again. And then the girl that starts dancing turns into a vampire out of nowhere with this really weird ass face. It looks weird. It doesn't really it looks like kind of like a mix of a snake and a vampire. And then everybody in the bar, except, the people that George Clooney and Quentin Tarantino kidnapped, and Quentin Tarantino and George Clooney, everybody else in the bar just turns into to fucking vampires. Wait, you got Tom Savini and some other guy also trying to help fight against this whole thing, and the people that George Clooney kidnapped, one of the guys there, he was a pastor, and he lost his faith because his fucking wife died. So now he has to use his faith to stop these vampires. So yeah, that's pretty much what it's about. At first it was this, two guys, like, bank robbers, one fucked up sicko in the head, played by Quentin Tarantino, and then George Clooney, just this guy that, he'll shoot you if you have to, but he's just, he's just a bank robber. And they're on the run. And then they kidnap, and then it turns into a vampire movie. It's like, what the hell? um, it's surprising when that happens, and it is weird, and it's a little jarring. Um, but I'm not gonna bullshit you. It's fucking badass. Like it is. Like the scene when they just start fucking beating the shit out of all these vampires, and George Clooney fucking, when he's fighting off all these fucking things, it's just badass. Like the green blood just shoots everywhere. It just looks fucking disgusting. And I love Robert Rodriguez. I don't like his Spy Kids movies, but This movie is fucking badass. It is. It starts out in one way, and then it turns a totally different direction. That's a movie where you think you know where it's going, but then it just turns its fucking whole thing around. And it works for the movie. It really does. And that fucking scene with Salma Hayek is so goddamn hot. Really is. Like, you're sitting there with your fucking mouth open. You know what I mean? Um, and the effects in the fucking movie are just insane. Like when Tom Savini, he's a a special effects guy. He's awesome, but he's a good actor too. And he's in this, and he gets his fucking head cut off. But then he grows back into a freaking like disgusting ass like dog thing, and it's just nasty and sick looking. It's like holy shit, dude. All the effects are amazing in this movie. And it's just badass. Like when they fight these vampires, it's cool. Um, Tom Savini, he has like a, I forgot what his name was, but he was called like something sexy something, and he freaking has like a dick gun. What the hell? It totally goes out there with all these weird ass fucking things. The vampires look weird. The blood is green. Um, but it's still good. Like it's like two movies basically, and there's a bunch of sequels. I might check them out, and they also just recently made a TV show. But this is a good film. I really liked it. It totally changes directions, and you know what I mean. You don't know where it's gonna go. And that's cool. That's a plus for me for the movie because how many movies have you seen where you can say, oh, I know how this is gonna happen. I know how that's gonna happen. Oh, I know how this one's gonna end. But you had no idea how this is gonna end because nobody expected this to turn into a fucking vampire movie. Because it was just started out, like I said, about two guys on the run. They kidnap people. They end up going to this bar, and then it's a fucking vampire movie. um, but yeah, it is a little weird though. Like with the look of the vampires. Um, And like Quentin Tarantino, he turns into a fucking vampire. And he's fucking like, he's Quentin Tarantino times a billion. Like his fucking face is huge and looks fucking just weird and gross. And like when you kill the vampires, they like just melt and their eyes just pop out of their fucking heads and shit. But yeah, I enjoyed this film. Like I said, I might check out the sequels. Um, But yeah, that's pretty much all I gotta say, guys. On From Dusk Till Dawn. Let me know what you guys think of if you've seen this movie. Would you have rathered it stayed about people going on the run? If it were up to me, I would have left it that way because I wanted to see what would have happened. Because you would, oh yeah, they got there and then they probably would have had like some problem before they can get to where they have to get, and then it turns into a vampire movie. I'm not gonna bullshit you. I would have rathered it stayed, about these two guys on the run, because I like that. Because I didn't like kind of like, oh, now Quentin Tarantino's dead. You know what I mean? It was just like they totally changed direction, and it's like you wish you would have saw the rest of what would happen there. But how many movies have you seen where you can see that exact same shit? Two guys on the run, and then at the end, probably the same shit happens that Quentin Tarantino or George Clooney dies or something, and then, you know what I mean, they don't get the way they have to go. But in this, it totally changes direction, and it's cool. It's cool for what it did. Badass vampires, cool fucking ending. Just had fun with this film. Like I said, I might check out the sequels. But until then, thanks for listening, subscribe, and peace.